if we can get this to go off without getting incredibly interrupted or pushed out because we're busy, the shop's busy. I don't even know where to start on this one. 2011 Mini Cooper. The shop said they changed 4 coils. The car came in, they didn't troubleshoot it. The customer said, I want 4 coils done and an oil change. They do the 4 coils, they do the oil change, and the car doesn't start. They put the old coils back in and the car doesn't start. And at that point they stopped and they called me. I come in and I probably wait for a couple of people to jump in on this live stream so I don't have to repeat myself. But so I come in and the gentleman comes over and says, I replaced the 4 coils, it didn't start. I put the 4 old coils back in, it still didn't start. He said, I found this. I'm going to take that off for now. He said, I found this wire. I opened up the harness and I found this wire laying in there. I wasn't quite sure where it went. So, you know, he sees that it's all tied together and there's this little thing over here and he thought maybe that was some kind of diode. So he stripped it back and he hit that baby there and that's where he stopped. Okay. So let's establish first of all, this is a ground wire that's supposed to be attached to the valve cover bolt back there. And it broke off. So I come over and I give it a little ground bypass right to the battery. I check powers and grounds. I have no power to the coil. Pull a diagram, find out this is my fuse for the coil. That fuse is not only blown, but it's got a 30 amp fuse where there's supposed to be a 15. So I stick a 15 back in there and I get power back to the coils. Now the coils have power. They have proper ground. I still have a crank no start. Now I do a scan. Scan comes up with all kinds of 5-volt reference codes, all kinds of 5-volt reference codes. 5 or 6, I don't remember which one, 5 or 6 of them, they're missing their reference voltage. I'm gonna need to plug that back in. So, I grab my diagrams, I come over here and I start grabbing, yeah, no, glare. I start pulling up and separating my diagrams, voltage 1, voltage 2. Those are my powers and grounds going into the DME. We'll get to that in a minute. So there's, the way they did it on this one, they separate the 5-volt reference into 5-volt, I don't know if you can see that. See that 5-volt 2? They actually separate them 5-volt 1, 5-volt 2, 5-volt 3. There's 5-volt 1. So basically everything is isolated. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sensors are on that 5-volt reference. This way, if it gets pulled down, you're only pulling down the one leg. So, I determine. Hey, buddy. I'm just trying not to read the chats because I really got to get out of here. I determine that this leg is dead. So, I go to it and I start unplugging all my sensors. See if maybe I have a shorted sensor that's pulling it down. I unplug my accelerator pedal, not too hard. Rail pressure, not too bad. Back of the motor from underneath. Crankshaft sensor underneath, also in the back. Oil pressure from underneath in the front. And I grab the intake camshaft sensor, which is right here. While I'm at it, I just start pulling a bunch of others. Voltage does not come back. I unplug. Now with all my sensors unplugged, I pull the DME plugs and I just check, see if maybe the harness is short of the ground. So now with everything pulled, quick resistance test, see if I got any short to ground. I do not. My harness is good. It's not pinched. I thought maybe when they did the oil change, there's a the oil pressure switch is right next to the oil filter housing cover. And if you're not careful, when you screw the cover down, that plastic cover, you can pinch the harness. I thought maybe they did that. They did not. Harness is good. Unplugged all the sensors. I still have no 5 volts. Now I go back. Trust me, it didn't happen this quick as I'm saying it. And I would have loved to have brought you along for the process. It just doesn't happen. Checked all my powers. Checked all my grounds. We got powers, we got grounds. At this point, I'm pretty confident that DME is bad. I'm not sure why it went bad. I don't know if he had something to do when he hit the ground to that. By the way, this is a noise suppressor. So that's 12 volts, that's ground. He went and hit that side to that side, and that's why the fuse blew, and then we put a bigger fuse in it and blew it again. So, I don't know if that did it. I'm not sure. But, so now that I'm pretty certain the DME is bad, I go and I grab a good 5-volt reference. Let's see if I can do this. I grab I grab a good 5-volt reference from 5-volt reference 2. I hook it up to 5-volt reference 1. Get in there. One-handed. Come on, get in there, because I got to go. Initially, I get 2.3 volts. As soon as I do that, it pulls this down to 2.3. I thought I did something wrong. I recheck. I grab a different 5-volt reference from the same 5-volt reference 2 circuit. Same thing, pulls it down to 2.3. I said, all right, something on the first circuit, maybe it's pulling it down. I go and I grab, just because I know they're common, I grab the accelerator pedal module on the floor and I unplug it. And it immediately just jumps back up to 5 volts. So now I got my 5 volts. I have my ground for my coil. I have power back to the coils. Proper fuse. I come in. Car starts. Runs a little shitty. It's loaded up, a little poopy. And because it's loaded up with fuel. But needless to say, and if I either plug the accelerator pedal back in or disconnect that 5-volt jumper, car dies. So my only thought here is either the accelerator pedal module is shorted out and blew the DME, which it shouldn't have done. It should have just shut the 5-volt circuit off. I don't know if what happened over here had anything to do with it, but at this point, I know for certain this thing is an accelerator pedal module and a DME. And we got to fix that mess. I just thought this was neat. It kind of kicked my butt for a little bit because it wasn't one problem. It was literally 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 separate issues that probably started off as one. But anyway, just fun process. Keep at it. This thing had me awake last night. So I got it all done, and we're going to see about maybe cloning a DME or something. But that's it, guys. I got to go. I'm at the 7-minute mark. I got to fly. Very late. Bye.